So on the top side of the road you see that there's 60 cows out there. We go one field beyond that way and then we're down to the river. This dike here that's running up, we're the right hand side of that, and then the hill that's covered in mist, we loop right round the back of that. There's a wood away in the distance. We have one field there, just to the far side of it, and then follow the river back round and out that way. It's 1,250 acres and 57% of that is hill. So we've got a bit of a rotation this side of the farm, what we've been heading through. So ideally 3-day moves, but we're just getting started kind of mobbing up now. So we're just finding our feet and grass growth is going nuts, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we should have quite a nice rotation this side of the farm. So I'm trying to get on roughly a 10-year kind of reseeding policy. So that'll be forage rape and then into permanent grass. I've had a fair bit bother with thistles, so you'll see it when we go a bit further round, but we've put Italian and crimson clover in, and if I have to spray to get rid of the weeds, so be it. And then I'll direct drill the permanent reseed, hopefully for 8 years, and then we'll be back round into it. That works quite well. No, so we're quite light land everywhere, so we'll round up and then just where you got in the trailers, there's that set of discs, a couple of passes with that, and then we'll broadcast with the fertiliser. We've used Red Start quite a lot in the past, that's been the main one. Just mix it in with the fertiliser and then a roll, and that's it. Pretty simple, works quite well. Probably would like to get into a bit more direct drilling, but normally flat roller, but yeah, reseed we done this year, we were going to get beat with the weather, so it was just Cambridge rolled. Yeah, like a flat roll though. So that was basically a bit hill covered in gorse really 2 years ago. It was Typhon Undersoma Italian with crimson and Persian clover in it. We weaned lambs onto that and then let it regrow, and then I was away on holiday and Dad fed cows and calves and that'd be September. Still had 1.1 kilos on the calves at that time of year. And then taken a wee graze off it there, a bit Italian that regrow. That was a wee bit poached, and gorse was starting to regrow on the steep banks, so another roundup and another year of forage crops, and we'll get in a permanent reseed next year. I mentioned that we don't grow fodder beet anymore. Marginal land, I think the cost was too much. I never grew over a 20-ton crop. That's tons dry matter a hectare. First year we grew it, tried to do the late nitrogen to keep the leaf, but trying to utilise it with pregnant ewes in say February, March, that was a waste of money. The leaf was gone anyway, and then just the protein to energy ratio for pregnant ewes, you know, just not enough protein in it at that time of year. If we were grazing it earlier, possibly, but for the cost going into it, I just didn't think it was worth it. And also having a wee bit bother with the big root going down into drains after a year. So on this farm, wanting to improve hill ground, I would rather have half the yield over twice the acres. So even when you did get the fodder beet right with the high yield, just trying to utilise that yield, a bit of a struggle. So we've went away from it. Yeah, we've kind of went back to the future on our permanent mixes. I'm liking, maybe, I don't know where William is, but maybe not the high sugar ones. Just to try and last a wee bit longer, not nitrogen hungry. And then, yeah, so extra clover, probably at least 1.5 kilos of white clover plus 1 kilo of red. We don't find red clover effects yowes at tupping time at all. You probably get a performance boost on it. Probably just the time of year we are tupping, and it's part of a ryegrass sward. I like red clover because of the nitrogen fixing. You can see with the silage fields with no nitrogen, they're still dark green compared to up here, a wee bit lighter coloured. And then, yeah, silage fields will be still light heading ryegrass, mainly diploids with a couple of kilos of red clover. These are all kind of 10-acre paddocks split semi-permanently, bungee gateways. I normally have a kind of alkathene pipe set up on my bike, so at lambing time I can just drive over them. There's no extra gates to do, and there's springs in the high tensile wire, so you can cross them anywhere. Trying to have the benefits of rotational grazing without the hassle, and it seems to work quite well. Just as I said before, we're just starting to mob up now, but a few weeks time we'll have the ewes and lambs followed by this group of cows. So the cows are just calving next door, and then I've got a little, it's basically like a sidecar for the quad bike with a weigh crate in it, and I move them through as they calve. Quite happy to have them set stocked and just let them settle and get a couple of weeks old. Yeah, it works well.
What's your fertiliser policy through the year, Robert?
Little as possible fertiliser. The last couple of years we've used less than 30 tonne, so that's an early dose to get grass growing, and then hopefully clover takes over after that, and that'll be it. Our biggest use of fertiliser is forage crops. We're trying to improve a reasonable amount of hill land, and that's pretty hungry for it. But yeah, probably a bit slow to the party, but red clover has really transformed that. Our first cut silage generally get about 40 units, so not much at all, and then that's it. Clover will take over after that. We'll use chicken muck in the winter, and that'll top up the P's and K's, give us a good bit of early growth. So that's more on like the silage ground, the bottom flats, because all they're getting is nitrogen in the spring. It's kind of what we've always done, and we've done the variable rate soil testing when there was money going for it there, and P and K indexes were good, so it works.
What are you doing for alignment policy?
Bought an awful lot over the last few years. Just the ground line, as and when it needs it. I would say I'd like to be testing every 5 years, but Rome wasn't built in a day. It's probably more like every 10. This is our cow sheds. You maybe wouldn't notice in the mist this morning, but over at Drochil the hills are an awful lot greener, and that is purely cows that have done this. There's 330 acres on this block, and historically there's only been 150 ewes running on it, so it's not really much wonder that this much hill land's getting planted in trees. Wintered that group of heifers on it, we place bales in the summer, and we'll string a wire around them, and then I just move that wire, roll the bale down the hill. Yeah, gravity's your friend. You're able to push silage bales over the quad bike, and everything can get in to feed. There's no pushing and shoving or mud round ring feeders. Yeah, this is why we're increasing the cow numbers, improving the land at the same time. I've only had 30 on. I've split it with a just an electric wire, and 70 acre for 32 of them, and that done them from mid-December until the first calves were dropping at the end of April there. But yeah, the plan going forward is we'll have all the mature cows around here this winter, maybe extend that road a bit further and just improve another bit every year. Well, we've always used the hills at the kind of shoulders of the season, so probably cows historically would come in December and out again, well, when we needed shed space for lambing. And I'd just like outside cows, they're fitter, they calve better. I think we probably calve our cows a wee bit fitter than most, but as in condition wise, but I think the key to it is just they're walking all winter, they are fit. So this winter it was silage, just last summer never got any hay, and using a bit of gravity on a bit of hill and push them over, let them roll down the hill. And the two previous to that we got hay, that's preferred choice. But this winter on silage I'm basically £1 a day for the heifers. In the past when I've been on hay I've had it down to 50 pence or just over. Across at Stevenson there we've tried it a wee bit, and marginal ground really good. Weed control's biggest bother. I think to make a good job without weeds after a rape crop you need to do a stale seed bed, and if we go dry this time of year you pretty much lose an entire summer's production, and I don't think that's good for soil health, sitting doing nothing, burnt off a Roundup. So not pushed it too hard, but the one field we have, it was marginal, rocky, steep, and been really impressed with. This is third year I think now. We had done a stale seed bed to try and get it clean. Just starting to get a few weeks now, but for a very marginal field I've been quite impressed. It's not had any fertiliser since the red start was sown. At the woodside there, I mean, they are just down to shaly rock, so the deeper rooting has really worked well. Yeah, it's just trying to find a balance. Can't really go wrong with ryegrass and clover. I think to do this well, it definitely needs to be rotationally grazed. In the summer I'll probably split this into quarters, and that's roughly a hectare a paddock. It just seems to get a wee bit stemmy, and if you're trying to make the lambs or sheep eat down into it, performance kind of goes away. So either very small paddocks or cattle following behind.
What was in the mix, Robert? Roughly. What herbs?
Yeah, so that's like chicory, plantain, clover, and it was 25% ryegrass, late heading ryegrass. I wanted a field of herbs, not a field of grass that then would smother out the herbs. So still looking alright this year. I think if we start to get beat with weeds or the herbs are dying off, we'll just direct drill in.